So I'd like to have our National Republican Congressional Committee Chairman, Tom Cole, kick us off.
Well, I don't want to try and compete with the governor of Alaska. I'm pretty excited today. Obviously, we're going to get to go down and talk about energy, but we're going to get to do it on a day when we've picked, as Senator McCain has picked, somebody who's a tireless advocate of energy, somebody who knows something about it, and somebody who can do something about it when they get to Washington, D.C. So I'm very excited about the vice presidential pick. It's a great privilege for me to get to be here on this genuinely historic day and see our standard bearer nominate somebody who's an expert on energy. As a matter of fact, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm pulling for because maybe she'll even change his mind on Anwar, which I'm a big proponent of. But regardless, historic day, and an emphasis not just, frankly, on an historic nominee for vice president for either party, but also on the energy issue, which I expect Governor Palin to bring enormous expertise and insight into the political process and then on here to Washington, D.C. Well, clearly it's the Democrats that want to impose litmus tests on people. How can you say that you're not a legitimate candidate because you don't agree with a certain set of preordained principles that are liberal by nature? I not only reject it, I think that's really, frankly, pretty insulting to women.
I think the argument is that this won't necessarily help with disaffected voters.
Well, it sounds to me like an argument born of desperation rather than reality. I mean, I think John McCain picked somebody that he thought would be a really extraordinary pick and somebody that has the executive experience and ability and the reforming temperament to step in and make a difference right now. She's clearly not a go-along, get-along kind of person. She beat the incumbent governor of her state in a primary. She took on the political power structure in a Republican state as a Republican, and she's been able to change the paradigm of politics in Alaska without abandoning the historic base of the Republican Party. I think it's a brilliant pick, quite frankly, and I think the Democrats know it's a brilliant pick. That's why you're hearing all these arguments this morning. Who are we talking about today? We're not talking about their nominee last night. We're talking about our vice presidential nominee this morning. And I think we're going to have a great debate between these two sides. But again, I like the point that Thad made. We've got executive experience in our ticket. They don't. We've got somebody who's proven that she is an exceptional individual by beating an incumbent governor, by changing things in her state. And yet we've got also a role model that I think anybody, pro-life or pro-choice, would admire somebody that has accomplished what she's accomplished, is obviously an extraordinary wife and mother, and made a pretty tough decision in terms of her own family with having a child with Down syndrome. I don't want to get into personal end of it, but I admire that. And I think people, regardless of where they are on the abortion issue, will admire her as a person and respect her and her accomplishments. So I feel pretty comfortable that this was an exceptionally smart pick. But it wasn't just smart politically. I think it was smart for America. I think we're also seeing something. Let me just back off for a minute from partisanship at all. I think it says a lot of wonderful things about America. That we have the first legitimate, and I mean legitimate in the sense can win, African-American candidate for president. That we've got, somebody who clearly can win as vice president. We've got somebody like John McCain who, frankly, has served our country with such great distinction and a reminder that America honors the sacrifices that men and women in uniform make. And somebody like Joe Biden, who's overcome challenges in his personal life and had a distinguished career. Nobody should complain that we don't have good candidates on both sides of the ticket. But I got to tell you, philosophically, I really like where our people are coming from because I think that, they got real life experience in ways that the average American can identify with, and they're reformers and game changers, and that's what America wants. They don't want the same game here, and frankly, with all due respect to Senator Biden and Senator Biden and Obama, they're sort of pretty conventional liberal choices. show me where they've challenged the orthodoxy and the establishment of their party in an intellectual or philosophical way. Show me where they've taken on. They've actually both pretty much go along with the liberal leadership of the Democratic Party. That's not true of John McCain. He's clearly broken with our party, and at times, in this campaign alone, being for the surge, a political consultant would have told you that's high risk. Being for immigration reform in the middle of a Republican primary, that's high risk. And by the way, picking the Alaska governor is, quote, high risk. He's demonstrated his ability to change things. She's demonstrated her ability to change things as well. And I think that's what the country's looking for. They want change. Boy, this is about as big time of change as I think you can get. And I'm excited about it. I think it's a wonderful selection for the country because I think, and actually both parties should take credit for this, we're saying to every American, hey, there's nobody outside the political process in our country. That if you come in and you work hard and you do the right things and you fight for the things you believe in, there's no position to which you can't rise. That's a good message both parties have sent to all of America.